Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning bilingual sexuality podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. Sí, Please Me tiene subtítulos en español. I'm thrilled to announce that Please Me is the #1 ranked sexuality podcast in the USA and worldwide. And welcome to Season 6. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sex education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. This week's two-part episode features Emma Lyons, who calls out the cultural and family conditioning that teaches women to abandon themselves and shows them how to break free. Tune into part 1 now and don't miss the conclusion in part 2 as we dive into shedding people-pleasing patterns and reclaiming a life free from toxic cycles. Missed my webinar, Let's Talk Length, Girth, and Health? Good news, it'll soon be available as bonus content on Patreon. I fund the show entirely myself, and every new Patreon subscriber literally helps keep it alive and growing. I'm putting everything I've got into making Please Me, so if you've ever thought about supporting the show, now's the time. Join the community for ad-free episodes, early releases, exclusive content, and my eternal gratitude. Huge thanks to everyone who's rated, reviewed, and shared Please Me. Because of you, we're now the #1 sexuality podcast in the US and worldwide. Your support amplifies vital conversations about pleasure, healing, and sexual empowerment. Keep the momentum going, leave a review, share your favorite episode, and help us reach even more listeners. This week, I'm shouting out 5 amazing countries where Please Me hit #1: Guatemala, Georgia, Bahrain, Slovakia, and Rwanda. Thank you for tuning in and turning up the volume on pleasure. Prefer to read? Subscribe to my newsletter on Substack for exclusive updates and more Please Me related news. Please Me is for mature audiences, so sit back,
Such a
relax,
good question,
and
and I'm going to
surrender
sound
to
like
the
a broken
pleasure
record
of
here,
Please Me.
but all this thing, undercharging, giving, overgiving, these are symptoms of shame. If you think about it, when we feel shame, I have to give, I have to prove that I'm good enough, I have to make them like me, people pleasing. I have to show it's that false mask, that false self, because we want people to like us. Again, you're not being authentic. So that again, the root of that is shame.
ASN Lifestyle Magazine is your go-to source for sex-positive, sophisticated content covering everything from the swinger lifestyle and adult entertainment to intimacy, wellness, and more. You can read every digital issue for free, and subscribers get access to exclusive content. See the show notes for the link to subscribe and check out their Instagram. I'm excited to share that I now have a monthly column in ASN called Big Clit Energy, a Please Me series. Don't miss it and subscribe.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Today. Hello, and welcome to Season 6 of Please Me, the podcast that aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health by turning the sheets into our classroom. Today, I'm so excited to bring on Emma Lyons to the show for her part 2 of the show. She already has recorded part 1. So if you didn't listen to last episode, I suggest that you go back and start there because we talked about so many incredible things. And I just had way too many questions for her. So I decided that we were going to do this really deep dive into the concepts that she's created about the inner narcissist. And so with that being said, I want to welcome you back. Emma, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much. Great to be back.
Yes. And I want to talk again a little bit about the nervous system, because the nervous system is so key to allowing us to feel safe in our bodies, right? And if we are constantly having negative thought patterns, right, we are not going to feel safe in our bodies. And I just want to give an example because sometimes our bodies or our nervous systems are on high alert, right? And me coming from a history of childhood sexual abuse, I often feel like I'm on high alert, even when I shouldn't be, right? My nervous system should be calm and relaxed and feel safe, especially at night when you're in bed, right? And I'm just thinking specifically about cuddling at night, right? And how I feel much safer, much more relaxed, and much more comfortable when I'm the outside spoon of the cuddle, as opposed to the inside spoon, right? The inside spoon where maybe your partner is pressed up against you. You may be able to feel their genitals on you. And so it is more of an unsafe position than being on the outside of the spoon. And this is something that has affected me. And I know that it's something that I'm working on, because I know that I'm safe with my partner. I know that my partner knows my boundaries, but I still have that natural nervous system pattern that allows me to feel more safe when I'm on the outside spoon. So I want to talk about some of the somatic practices that we can do to sort of help ourselves feel safe in our bodies. Because if we do come from a history of sexual abuse or emotional abuse or physical abuse, the feeling of safety is not something that just comes naturally because of the experiences that we've had. Yeah. So I would love for you to speak on that.
Well, this is such a great point, because so many people out there, they talk about mindset, but this is like 20% of the story, because it's really, the trauma is in your cells and it's in your body holds it. So I work with energy healing, so that really helps. But other things that you can do this called havening. You can just kind of tell yourself, when people are anchoring, you can actually say, I'm safe. Tell your body, speak to your body, speak to that child inside that's still holding the fear. Tell her or him that it's safe now, that it's over now, that you got her. Be the adult with that. You can actually visualize them or feel them next to you, and just tell them that they're safe, that you got them, you got their back. Because so many of this is just like hypervigilance, like you say, and it doesn't end just because the traumatic situation has ended, because it's stored in your body and your cells. So you've got to, work with the body. Another great way of doing it is working with the breath, like breathing in and then doing it, holding it for a couple of seconds, and then like a longer exhale for about 6 seconds, and just consciously letting go. I mean, I can even feel it now just from talking about it, but it actually sounds so simple, but it really relaxes the body, like just sighing, just let the body go. But if you have the trauma is still running in your body, you can go to someone, trauma informed healer, or somebody who does energy work or some other way of working, or breath work. That can be a really helpful way of releasing it. But yeah, be careful who you work with, because lots of people, they're not trauma informed. So make sure that you feel safe with the person. Make sure, because if you don't feel safe with the person, you're not going to be able to, you're going to be re-traumatizing yourself. So find someone to work with. Yoga, these practices are really good. I'm also a yoga teacher. So working with yoga, and even things like, I live near a lagoon now, and even just like lying down in the lagoon and floating, tell your nervous system, I'm safe now. It's safe to let go. It's safe to trust life. I'm safe now. And really the trust starts with trusting yourself. And this is where, because if you don't trust yourself, and your trust was violated as a child when you got abused, but you've got to learn to trust yourself, that you can keep yourself safe now. And that's a practice. It's a practice of releasing the residual trauma that you're carrying in your body, and learning that it's like an animal, like a pet. Your body is like a pet. You've got to treat it in that way, like that. Tell your body that it's safe now, that you're good, that you're looking after it. And even when you do simple things like take a shower, like tell your body that it's safe now, that you got it. Use that breath work when you're doing your yoga or your qigong or whatever systems that you do. Use that to really consciously connect with the body and bring that energy of safety, because that's really what it's all about. If your body doesn't feel safe, you're not going to be able to climax fully and let go. And most women, they don't fully climax. They experience a tiny fraction of what's possible because it hasn't been safe to fully let go, because women have been shamed, hysterical for being too much and not enough. Again, it's another double bind that keeps us stuck in shame. So when you work with the body this way, you'll be amazed to see how it unfurls from that shame. And it's, like I say, unfurl because shame kind of keeps us in a kind of claw of dysfunction, of shame, of trying to be small, of trying to keep ourselves safe. And only when we release that do we start to flower and blossom and really share our essence with the world and fully open. Because, shame, the opposite of shame is authenticity, because when we're in shame, we can't be authentic. We're protecting. We're, oh my God, don't show myself. I got to hide. We're not authentic. We can't really connect with people. We're hiding our true self and putting up a false, fake front in the hopes that people will like us and that we'll be okay. That's not who you really are. So you've got to calm that nervous system down so that you can open and allow yourself to blossom again.
I love that you say it's a practice, and practice makes perfect, right? So it's not like, okay, you do the breath work and then boom, it's done. No, you have to practice it on a regular basis. And I love that you are saying yoga and breath work are things that can help. These are practices, but also what are you doing during the yoga and breath work? What are you thinking about? How are you trying to connect with your body during that time? Because it's a physical practice, but you also need to be conscious of what your mind is doing during the practice so that you can really maximize it, right? And you talk about taking a shower, right? And connecting with your body and really allowing your body to feel the sensation of the water on your skin. It can be very healing if you start to incorporate these practices into your everyday routines, not just when you're at the yoga studio, right? But like everyday routines that you do. And so I love that you say that it is a practice and that you can incorporate it into your everyday. I want to talk about the real reason why in relationships we overgive, and in businesses, right, in our personal businesses, we undercharge. And I would love to talk about it in terms of like women, right? Because we are always overgiving. We are always undercharging. We are always overdoing, right? And expecting less. And so how can we break that cycle?
This is such a good question. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but all this thing, undercharging, overgiving, these are symptoms of shame. If you think about it, when we feel shame, I have to give, I have to prove that I'm good enough. I have to make them like me, people pleasing. I have to show it's that false mask, that false self, because we want people to like us. Again, you're not being authentic. So that again, the root of that is shame. So we need to dismantle the shame so that we can start opening, recognizing that we're extremely valuable and really start shining, really allow ourselves to glow and shine. Because when we're carrying shame, it's just not safe. It's not safe to shine. You need to make yourself small, make yourself unseen, wear a mask or something so that people will hopefully like you and you'll hopefully be safe. And so many of us, myself included, when I started my business, I had a quarter-life crisis. I was studying law and I found this energy work and I was really good at it and I was really excited to do it. But I really struggled to make it work as a business because I kept on self-sabotaging. I kept on, I would start and pay. I don't want to think about how much money I spent on all these courses, but I spent so much money on, systems and, breaking through these things. But every time I would take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back because or things would start to work and then it would stop. Or the other one is that I'd be like doing all the things, scrambling, trying to make it work, and things would just never connect. And even that's the thing, even if you're showing up and you're following what everyone says you do, if you're showing up from that shame place, as so many of us do, as I did, I know this deeply from my own life. When you show up and you're carrying so much internalized shame, you can't show up authentically, because shame is the antithesis of authenticity. So particularly if you're selling a product or service that you're making or doing yourself, it's really hard when you're carrying the shame. It's so much easier to sell someone else's things, because it doesn't have that same connection to you, but it's triggering the shame. So you kind of keep a distance. You wear that mask so people don't really see you, and you don't let your ideal clients connect with you, really. You're hiding. And that's true even if you're showing up, if you're doing all the social media things, you're still hiding. You might be making the videos, but you're not being authentic. You're not showing up as who you really are, because shame is kind of obfuscating all of that.
I love that you say that shame is the opposite of authenticity. And I think that really in life, what we really should be striving to be is truly our authentic selves, whatever that is, whether you're in the LGBTQ community, being your authentic self, whether you are, whatever that may be, right? And so I think that is such an important thing to understand. And it's something that I hadn't really heard before. And I really appreciate that concept of it being the opposite. When you release the shame, then you can truly be who you are meant to be, your true authentic self. And when you are your true authentic self, it's really hard to be around inauthentic people. Yeah. You really want to attract, and you really want to be around people that are also being truly authentic. So you start magnetizing those authentic people. And that's what we really want, is to really, push away or push away the people that are trying to shame us, right? And into fitting into a societal norm or into society as it is in this patriarchy, and really to truly be our full authentic selves. So we were talking about overgiving in general, right? But how about overgiving in relationships? Because women tend to really overgive in intimacy, and then we don't and we undercharge in the way that we don't necessarily accept the pleasure that we deserve, right? Because we don't expect it, right? We don't say, I want this. This is how I want you to touch me. This is how I want you to pleasure me. I want you to do X, Y, Z. We have a hard time voicing our desires. And so I would love for you to speak on relationships a little bit, and how we can take the concept of, stopping that overgiving and undercharging, and really stepping into who we are truly meant to be authentically, and how we can express that in relationships, whether they be hookups all the way to marriage, right? And how we can get our desires and our needs and our pleasure needs met.
That's such a great point, and it aligns exactly with what I've just spoken about, because money, sexuality, and relationships, it's all the same energy. It's all about receiving. And, broken record again, but if you are carrying shame, you are not open to receive. You're like, don't look at me. Don't look at me, because I'm so shameful. If you see who I really am, you won't like what you see. So if you're carrying that, you're kind of hiding in your relationship. So you're not actually letting that person connect with you, because you're being inauthentic. And I don't say that to accuse anyone. I'm just saying, when you're carrying shame, you cannot be authentic, whether that be in your business or whether that be in your relationship. You're trying to hide. And I mean, I know this from personal experience. If you're with a lover or a partner and you're feeling shame, you don't want them to see you're worried about you can't receive pleasure. You can't. Your body is contracting. It goes into that contraction. You start thinking, oh my God, what's he going to think? What's she going to think? Oh my God, that's so disgusting. You are in your head. That narcissist is running the show again, and you can't let go. You can't let go. You cannot let go of control, because shame is all about control. Shame, as I said before, shame is always about control, not care. So the inner narcissist, it's got you under its thumb. You don't deserve it. You can't have it. You're not good enough. And you shrink and you go in your head and you don't experience the pleasure that you could. Your body just doesn't allow it. So with this overgiving, again, it's the same. It's the symptom that I have to prove myself. I have to show that I'm good enough, because deep down, I believe that I am not good enough. So I got to prove that I'm enough. I got to show the guy. I got to give him loads of pleasure, or her, whatever the case may be. But I don't deserve. I've got to prove that I'm enough for them, so they'll get theirs, and it doesn't matter about me so much. Again, it's shame. So
not okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Not okay.
It's
well,
not
that
okay.
That leads us to, I think, the most fun part of the podcast, which is the role play. And we talked a little bit about what we were going to do for the role play. We decided that we were going to be friends having a conversation about our experience with breadcrumbing. And yes, and so we're going to get into that. But the role play is designed to be an example of how you can have conversations about difficult things with other people, whether it be a friend, whether it be your therapist, whether it be a coach, whether it be your doctor, modeling conversations about sexuality and sexual health, and just difficult topics in general. Because if you can't talk and communicate about difficult things, all of that is going to get bottled up inside of you. And you mentioned energy, and that energy can get stuck inside of you and can cause blockages. And we want to be able to unblock those blockages so that we can truly be our authentic selves. And that is really the desire for me and to all of my listeners, is that they start to embrace their true authentic selves through whatever networks they find informative or helpful. And your program is a really beautiful way to eliminate shame and silence that inner voice, right? So with that being said, this season, we are talking about icks, right? And the ick that we feel in various different relationships or experiences. And one of the icks that you brought up, which I think is an amazing topic of conversation, is breadcrumbing. Breadcrumbing is such a freaking ick. I cannot stand when you are getting to know somebody and suddenly, you're having this really lovely interaction and you're really feeling like you're connecting with somebody, and then suddenly the communication dies. And, and then you may hear from them in a week, how are you? Or what are you doing? Right. And then like in another month, you might get another, hey, just saying hello, and it's like they're keeping you on their radar. Right. But not really moving in any sort of direction. So with that being said, I just described what breadcrumbing is for those who don't really know what the concept means. And we're going to be talking about that in our role play. So are you ready, Emma?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I'll let you start the conversation. Okay. So, and action.
Oh my God, I just met this guy and it was so nice, Eve. He was really nice. We went out on a date and we went to the lagoon and it was so peaceful. And, I thought this could really go somewhere. And then I didn't hear from him from a whole week. And then on Friday night, I just get this at seven on Friday night. He was like, you around? I I don't know what to do. I wanted to make some kind of connection. I thought we had a connection there, and it just feels like I'm getting nothing back. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes, it has actually. I recently went on a date, and it was a first date, and we had an amazing time. We had great conversation. He was very much a gentleman. He, walked me to my car. He even gave me a kiss at the end, and it was definitely fire. I mean, definitely sparks flying. And then no conversation at all after that. A little bit of texting, but then it completely died. And I was left with a big question mark in my mind, like, what happened, And so, yes, I have experienced that before. I would love to know what you said when he reached out to you on Friday night. Like, what did you say at 7:00 when he was like, where are you? Or what are you doing? Like, what did you say? Did you engage with him, or did you say, hey, I have plans, or I'm in the middle of something else? What did you say?
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Do in those situations, and I've learned the hard way, is that you give exactly the same, the energy that he gives to you or that she gives to you, you give it right back. So if they're giving you breadcrumbs, where are you? You up? You write back, one word answer. That's what I do, and that I found that really, really, really effective. But because it really, you don't want to be overgiving. I've done the overgiving thing, and it takes away. It feels like I'm not valuing myself, and I'm teaching him to not value me as well. And I just think that if all he has is breadcrumbs for me, and I actually said to him, I don't do breadcrumbs eventually, because he kept on like texting me, over a few different weekends. And I wouldn't hear from him the whole week. And then the weekend, he'd be like, what you doing? And I just don't jump for these things anymore. And eventually he kind of got a bit nasty and was like, I sent him a picture I was out, and he was like, what do you want? And then it was like, nothing, goodbye. And I blocked him, and that was it.
Okay, I love that. You took some action there, because you know what? If someone is wasting your time, right? Breadcrumbing you over the course of months, right? Giving you a little shout out here and there, but never really fully thinking about wanting to spend time with you and actually moving in a direction of getting to know you better. Why even waste your time? Yeah. And you noticed the pattern, and you saw it, and you said, goodbye. I don't want anything from you. Like, just stop contacting me. And you blocked him. And that was a perfect, he's going to get the hint at that point, right? Because he did it before. You were giving him back what he was giving you, and he was still reaching out, still trying to keep you in the loop, in the radar, in the circulation, right? And I find that is such an insult. If you are truly interested in me, you don't want to just keep me on the exterior, radar, like circulating around you, right? You would want to bring me in. And if you don't have the time or the effort to want to bring me into your circle, then goodbye.
Yeah, you've got to value yourself.
100%.
What I've learned is that you train people how to teach you. And when I was really didn't feel like I was good enough, I would attract a lot of that, and I would put up with it because that's what I got as a child. Like nobody mirrored me, nobody was able to reflect back my love. So I just learned that was what I deserved. But with the work that I've been doing, I'm not accepting that anymore because it's so painful. You're re-traumatizing your nervous system that this is all you deserve, and I don't want to live there anymore. And my nervous system doesn't. I deserve more.
100%. And every time you're accepting that breadcrumbing, you are devaluing yourself. So I love that you say that. And seen. Yay, that was a really good one. I love that role play. And I think that this is such an important topic in relationships because oftentimes we're entering into new relationships if we're single, right? And many of us are, even if it's like after divorce or whatever it may be. And that's my case. I was divorced 8 years ago and re-entered into the dating pool and had to sort of relearn everything because life had changed, right? And so technology has created a possibility of like this breadcrumbing going on and on forever, right? And so you can shut it down. It is up to you. If you see the pattern happening, you can shut that down. And I love that is exactly what you did. That was your choice.
Yeah, you train people how to teach you, but you have to work on yourself internally first so that you can spot that and you just say no.
Absolutely. I want to make sure that all of my listeners can find you. Where would you like to send the listeners to find you?
Well, you can find me on socials. I'm on Instagram and TikTok, trauma.matrix. I'm also on Substack, Trauma Matrix. So you can find like some of my longer essays there. And I also, the free gift that I have for you, it's 5 signs that it's time to break up with your inner narcissist. And that is at tinyurl.com/not today narc. So that's the first step. If you want know a little bit more about this inner narcissist concept and you're feeling, maybe that's me, I have that going on, definitely check that out.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. And I want to make sure that my listeners can find me as well. You can find me on pleaseme.online. And I've talked about all of the different offerings I have there. And I just want to mention today that I am celebrating, jumping up and down, for joy that Please Me is now the #1 podcast in the world. It has ranked #1 in the United States. It has ranked #1 in every continent. So I am so grateful for everybody that out there that is listening to the show, that is rating the show, that is sharing the show. So if you heard this episode and part 1, because remember there was part 1 and this is part 2, please share the episode with somebody that you think can relate. Because I know that when I listen to podcasts, I'm always sharing them with people that I think can learn something from them as well. So please share the show. Make sure that you review the show, leave a rating. That helps us to be able to access more listeners so that we can, make more of an impact in the world. So thank you, my listeners, for doing that. And I want to also mention that I have been nominated and have won multiple awards this year. And the Webby Awards are the newest awards that are coming up for 2026. And they are basically the Academy Awards for podcasters. And so if you love the show and you want to nominate me, I would absolutely love to have your nomination. There are nominations. Again, I want to thank you for listening today and for being on the show today, Emma. Until next time. I want to personally invite you to join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, bonus episodes, and early releases. Already, there is a lot of bonus content on there with many webinars that I've done in the past and a show that I've never released to the public before. My show is completely self-funded, and when you are able to support me in this way, I'm able to spread my message of body positivity, self-love, and women's empowerment, and empowerment in general around sexuality around the globe. And so with that being said, I appreciate everyone who has already joined Patreon. And if you've thought about joining, now's your nudge to do so. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.